Streaming to 0 viewers sucks, but what if I told you that you are probably focusing on all the wrong things at the wrong time? Today, I'm going to show you the exact method that helped me grow from 0 to Twitch partner, and it made me realize that many creators have lied to you. You don't have to be lucky to grow. My name is Barry Epps, I'm a cryptographer and mathematician turned content creator. I've helped dozens of new streamers reach affiliate in under 30 days, and if you're serious about growing your channel, this framework will be your roadmap. Before we can jump into it though, I've got a question for you. Why do you want to grow your channel? There are generally 5 types of goals that people come up with for their Twitch channel, and they are the 5 F's. Fun is when you want to enjoy the journey and do something you love. Freedom is when you want to be able to do what you want, when you want to. Fulfillment is that you want to impact the world and leave something valuable behind. Fame is that you want to get followers and viewers. And fortune is that you want to be financially free. So what is your goal for streaming? I'll be honest, chasing fame or fortune as your primary goal will likely lead to burnout. Going full-time on Twitch on average takes 5 to 7 years, and that's a long time to stay motivated if your eyes are only on the prize. The other 3 all have one thing in common. They put the journey first. These goals are all focused on having you enjoy the path of becoming a big streamer instead of focusing what you'll get when you are a big streamer. Once you know your reason, your why, it's time to align your actions with it. And that's where the shift framework comes in. The shift framework consists of 3 parts, and it's going to guide you through growing on Twitch and especially through the things that you should and should not be doing at any given point. I hear it all the time. I'm researching right now. I'll start when I get a mic or once things settle down. But those things are not going to grow your channel. They are dressed up ways to say, I'm scared. And that's okay. Starting to stream is scary. But here's the truth. Every streamer you admire, they all started with 0 viewers and janky gear. They didn't wait till they felt ready. They just hit go live before they had it all figured out, and figured it out because they went live. And that's why the first phase of the shift framework is go live. This is your foundation, and you build it by streaming 20 to 30 times minimum. Not preparing, not planning, actually streaming. And the first thing we are going to address is the first C of content creation out of 6, and it is confidence. You need to press the start streaming button. Actually go live and stop overthinking it. That's easier said than done. I know, if only it was that simple. But let me ask you, how often have you considered pressing the start streaming button, but then hesitated as you questioned how many people would find you or if you had enough energy? The go live step is all about removing that mental barrier and building that confidence. If you can go live right now, then you should be focusing on exactly that. But the second thing is just as important in this step, and that is that we are going to build consistency. Just as you start, you are going to go live with whatever you want. It really doesn't matter what you are doing as long as you go live. But as you go through this phase, you might find that you're being pulled into a certain direction or towards a certain game. Let that happen naturally and then find a way to slot into that niche. While you're searching for your niche, you are going to have to build a schedule though, so that you can go live at the same time and the same days so that you can start building a community of regular viewers. Think of it like your favorite TV show. In a time long ago before Netflix, we had to wait for our show to start on the TV, and it usually aired at the same time, the same day, every single week. It aired Thursdays at 8 p.m. and you would never miss it. Now imagine if one week it showed up Monday at 11 a.m. or the next Friday at midnight. You'd miss it and eventually you'd lose track of the story and just stop watching. Your stream is no different. If one night your viewers sit down with their dinner and watch you as they relax after a long day at work, but the next day you go live in the middle of the day and they are working, well, then they can't watch your stream. And when they can watch you, they might have no idea what's going on anymore, and they just stop watching. Viewers show up when they know you will. And consistency is what builds trust and habit. Aim to go live 3 to 4 times a week for 3 to 4 hours at set times. That rhythm creates familiarity, and familiarity builds community. With a schedule in place, you now have room for the final key part of this stage: learning. And you have to start that right now because it is the most important thing for a content creator. Always keep developing your skills. Learn how to use the Twitch dashboard, how to find your VODs and how to make clips. Learn how to use OBS or Streamlabs or Meld Studio. And learn how you make or install overlays. There is a lot to learn, so if you can get the basics down, then you should actually already be golden for the next step. But before we go there, to finish the go live step, it is important you keep streaming and keep yourself to a schedule. Courage and consistency. If you can do that and you can get those 30-ish streams in without failing your schedule, then you have most likely already completed the path to affiliate and have unlocked subs and bits for your channel. You've made it, but that success does come at a price. Streaming is kind of like dating at the start. You kind of like the idea of streaming and then you try it. You go on a few dates and after a while you catch yourself thinking about streaming every day. Or you realize that you are just enjoying having fun. And that is exactly the question you need to answer. What do you want streaming to be? Do you want it to be a casual or a serious relationship? If you want it to be a casual relationship, you don't want to make this a full-time gig and you just want to stream to some friends, then that's it. Perfect, you're done. However, if you want this to be serious and you want streaming to become your goal for a business, you want streaming to become a business, then you need to commit. And that means it's time for step 2. It's time for you to go deep. If you've gotten to this step, congratulations. You are going to be in it for the long haul because you will be working on this for the remainder of your first year of streaming or until you get 100 to 150 streams in, if that takes you a little longer. This is then also where the real work starts. The goal for this step is to improve the quality of your stream from camera presence to viewer engagement and everything in between. The goal is to take your stream from just okay to something your current viewers love and new viewers can't wait to find. This step is also where you're gonna make your first few dollars, which means that you get a little spending money, which you can use to improve your gear and your streams. And that is then also the next thing we're gonna work on. C number 3. Content quality. You can start increasing your production value bit by bit by upgrading your mic, your lighting, your camera, etc. But much more importantly, you can start improving yourself. While in step 1, I recommend only watching videos about streaming when they directly cover what you need, now is the time you can start expanding that. Go read things like Create Something Awesome by Roberto Blake, which is an incredibly useful book, especially if you want to start making content on YouTube as well. Or listen to podcasts all about content creation and streaming, productivity, and how to build a business. But be careful. Don't spend so much time on learning that you forget about doing. You need to apply the things that you learn. Otherwise, it's just useless knowledge. And one of the things that I will always recommend people focus on learning is their camera presence and their voice. Your voice and camera presence are what tie your stream together in a neat little bow. So make sure to treat something that is so important well. For this, I can recommend Vin Zhang, who does amazing vocal coaching videos on YouTube. And to know what you should be learning, you should be reviewing your VODs. At least once a week, but preferably after every stream, sit down and open one of your VODs. Pick a random spot in your VOD and watch for 15 to 30 minutes. Next time you stream, pick one thing you are going to try and improve and do that. For a more targeted approach, you can also try and review those places in your VOD that were special because you had a sudden dip or spike in your viewership. You can see these stats by going into your Twitch analytics and having a look at your stream summary. Now scroll down to the graph and you can see exactly what your good and bad spots are for the stream. What you will see is that you're going to grow to 15 to 25 viewers in that time, your chat will become more engaging, and the stream quality is going to skyrocket. At the same time as working on your content, you're also going to have to work on your business. And for that, you are going to need some clarity. By now, you've streamed 20 to 30 times. So let's ask the real question. Who are you becoming on stream? Are you the chill hangout, the hyper competitor, or the voice that teaches, entertains, or just vibes? You don't need to lock it in forever, but clarity now means growth later. Pick a lane that feels right, even if it's just for now. This is how you start growing with intention, not just streaming aimlessly. Then start looking around. Who else is in your lane? Who's doing it well? Watch them, learn them, and connect with them. Don't just mindlessly copy what they do though. You don't just want to become them, you want to stay yourself, but learn from them. You're not gonna follow their footsteps, you're just looking for direction. I made this mistake myself. I streamed without direction, hoping it would all just click. No clear content, no clear community, just drifting. Before I knew it, I was stuck playing a game I didn't even enjoy. It took nearly a year and a big drop in viewership to course correct. Once I finally defined what my channel actually stood for, things turned right around. If I'd done that earlier, I could have saved myself a lot of pain. Lesson learned, but I learned it the hard way. A part of knowing what your channel stands for is also having clear rules. Something like be chill is not easy for someone to follow because they don't know what you mean by that. Soon you might actually introduce your first moderator, and it is their job to keep your community safe and happy. Then having unclear rules is going to be even worse because they might enforce it differently to you. So get clarity on the rules for your community, both how you want them to treat you, but also how you want your viewers to treat each other. This is also the place where you can ask yourself questions like, why should people watch me specifically over others? What is my target audience and what is my growth strategy off the platform? Although I've made videos on that before, I'll leave a link in the description below. With your community starting to take shape, it's time to give them a home base. And that's where Discord comes in. This is where you can have direct access to your viewers and where they can connect with each other and you. The nice thing is, Discord is yours, so you can style it exactly how you like. But if you have no idea or you're just looking for a place to start so that you can start building your own with a bit of help from a blueprint, then I'll leave a link to my video on how to set up a Discord server and why it is important right here as well. As long as you continue developing your skills and going deep into each of these little sections, your community will continue to grow. You will become a more and more entertaining creator. The production quality improves and you gain clarity on what you really want your channel and therefore your personal brand to be. Your relationship with streaming develops throughout the next year or so that you're in the go deep phase. And as you move past that initial in-love high, you will start recognizing that streaming is not all sunshine and roses. There are some serious challenges that come with it as well. And as you reach the end of the go deep phase, you're no longer a beginner. You're a creator with experience, insight, and a community that's starting to form around you. So now comes the real question. Are you ready to take this seriously? Not as a hobby, but as a brand, a business, and a long-term commitment. If the answer is no, that's okay. You've learned, grown, and had fun. And there's no shame in stepping away knowing you gave it your best. But if the answer is yes, then it's time for step 3. Go pro. While we are continuing with the first 4 C's, courage, consistency, content, and clarity in the Go Pro step, it is at this point that you as a creator are going to make some actual money from your channel. For some people, that might be a few hundred, but this can quickly become 1,000 or even more. Which is why in the Go Pro step, we are going to focus on something very important. Cash. Look, I've always thought that whatever you make with content creation, you should spend on building up your channel, your brand, and your community further. So do that. With the money, you should be working to improve your content. Take some courses, build your audience, or buy some new gear. But only if you really need it. There's something else that you can start spending money on, and most creators forget about this or do this too late. Look, we all know that making content is really time consuming. Streaming, videos, shorts, each of them have a specific process, and you need to follow that process. But what if you could improve the quality of your content without needing to invest hundreds and hundreds of hours learning a new skill? What if instead your content gets better and you get time back? It's time to think about hiring people, and especially video editors. I'm absolutely not the greatest editor. I would say I edit decently. This was my last video I edited myself, by the way. But I'm going to be honest, the biggest problem is the 10 to 15 hours that go into editing every week. That is more than a day's work, and I can use that time better. Which is why I've been working with an editor for a while now, so that I can spend my time working on things I'm good at, such as writing my scripts and recording the videos, and also important, being live. As you start hiring people that are specialized in a particular skill, you will suddenly realize that you can't do everything in a content creation business. You simply can't, or at least you can't do it well. But when you start hiring people, you do want to be able to communicate the things you want them to be able to do. And that brings us to the final C, codify, which honestly, it's just a fancy word that starts with a C for building systems. Once you get to the Go Pro stage, you start to recognize which videos are hits and which are not. And then you lean more into the hits so that viewers keep coming back. But to be able to ensure that your hits can be repeated, growing your channel even further, you need to know what you did in the first place. So you need to build a system that documents your content creation process, your brand identity, your editing style and preference, everything really. This is something that I learned from an amazing book called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Systemization is the key to producing results. If you did a stream that suddenly got 100 or thousands of viewers, then you need to step back and ask yourself, what made it so successful? Because if you can reproduce that exact same circumstance, then you'll have another super successful stream ahead of you. But you can't make it exactly the same. So you need to get as close to it as possible by writing down exactly what you did and making it so that you or someone else can repeat the exact same thing and get similar results. The Go Pro stage is one of the biggest things that I've been working on for this channel, and I can tell you right now, this is the most challenging step of them all. But if you can make it work, it's going to rocket your channel straight to the moon. You will see that while you are working on this, you are going to grow your channel quickly, and the major milestone for this step is getting that path to partner achievement. If you made it this far, then you're not just a hobbyist, you're a builder. So build smart. Start with Go Live. Commit to 30 consistent streams. Then come back to this video and tell me how it went. I'll be here waiting, and so will your future audience. Oh, and as a final note, just remember that having a plan is great, but you also need to execute on the plan. You need to do it. So if you want viewers to find you instead of just streaming to the void, then check out this video right here. And as always, stream better, stream smart.